This is Athena, Jezik. It's a beautiful evening. I'm going to show you some relaxation techniques today, just to get people really relaxed in this kind of bizarre world of stress. So it's really nice when people come in and they're pretty stressed. What I like to do is I start out, of course, with some cranial techniques, but then I come up to the neck and I like to move that silent water, which is the lymphatic fluid, because there's something very relaxing when the silent water is moving. And so I'll just start there at the clavicles and move that water along, following the clavicle. And sometimes when the water moves, if it's been a little sticky, it actually kind of tickles in a funny kind of way. It has a very strange little feeling to it when the water moves right underneath the skin. So we're going to just take it around the corner of this area and start to relax down. This is going to be strictly relaxation. Now, the other thing about relaxation that most people have a big stumbling block about is that they won't turn their brain off. So what I ask people to do when I can tell that they're just into thinking chatter is to focus on what they're feeling inside their body. And when I do that, especially when I started out doing that, I would pretend like I hopped in a little spaceship, a little bubble over my head, and I just flew around inside my body. I would look at my heart. If I felt something down in my leg, I would zip down to the leg and look around and see what that was. And I took all my attention inside. It's kind of a hard thing to do, but after a while it gets easier. And it's a very good thing to do, because when you're not feeling well, you can go inside your body that way, and you can manage things so much better. You can ask the body, we'd call it in cranial work, ask the inner physician what's going on. And when you're connected into the body like that, you'll get intuitively, you'll start to understand a little bit of what's happening. I've had to deal with that a lot with pain, because I refuse to take anything for pain. And the reason is because then my body doesn't feel good afterwards, because it has to process it out. But if it gets really, really, really bad, then I'll help it in some way. But I prefer not to. And so when you're relaxing down, you might feel strange sensations. Some of the sensations that you feel might be a little uncomfortable, but they're short-lived often. Now here on the cheeks, that's a real relaxing place to be, especially moving that fluid. And then to the back of the neck too. And you can also just hold the muscles of the back on either side of the neck. And just, do the donkey. Just press in as far as the muscles are letting you do it without them pushing back. And feel them begin to relax. And as you feel them relax, you know that the person on the table or the person that you're working on is being relaxed. that's kind of a neat feeling for both people. Another really relaxing thing to do is being around the ears, making some circles on the ears, very gentle. So you have the skin, it's kind of loose skin there, so you can just kind of work both sides of the ears and feel that skin just kind of rotating in your fingers. But don't grab it real hard. Always, if when you're relaxing people down, be gentle so that their body doesn't have to feel like it's in the need to protect itself, so that the brain can begin to relax. I came upon something and I need to study it more, but I guess there's a system now that they're calling the lymphatic system, and it's about how when we sleep at night, the brain will open up and we get rid of toxins in our brain. So I guess that's another reason we need to have sleep, but I guess that happens during REM. But I have to look into that a little bit more, because I just ran through it rather quickly. And along the front of the ears, there's a lot of fleshy parts there. And you can even go inside just where that kind of flat part is. Don't stick the fingers down the ear hole, and you can like rotate. My fingers is going one way while the other one's going the other way, so it's like a rotation. Of course, that feels really gentle and nice, and sometimes you feel a little undulating going on. If you know what to feel for, you can even feel a little bit of bone movement. And then, of course, across the forehead and the temples is always nice to do too. And just little skin stretching. Stretching, stretching, stretching. And when you do this, be sure that your fingers are covering the entire forehead. So you're not just with your fingertips, so that you're with the whole fingers. It feels much better. And down to the ears, because that's how the water flows. And just down to the neck with light pressure. It's not really a massage technique, it's more of a little bit of skin stretching. Okay, then we can go up to the bridge of the nose. Take fingers on each side and give that a relaxing pull. Now that you don't pinch it, you just gently hold it. And you'll feel a separation of the bones. There's 3 little bones in there. And some movement around. And that's a really nice feeling to have that open up. It's relaxing to the person on the table. You can kind of run down the nose then. And then a fun thing too to do is take the eyebrows and just wiggle them. That's another very relaxing thing. Just up and down, stimulating little lymph vessels in there, little tiny capillaries. Little cells and tissues that just kind of hang out under those eyebrows. And I'm doing the same thing on this side. And then you can rub the fingers across the eyebrows very lightly, very, very lightly. And then be very careful of the eyes, but a nice relaxing feeling is to just very gently pump the eyes in a downward direction. You're going to be draining the eyes. And that's a really nice feeling. Now, when you have subtle anatomy techniques that you know, you can feel so much when that's happening. When I was draining the eyes, I was feeling a lot of things deep in the eye, in the eyeball itself. And then another very relaxing thing is to gently grab a hold of the eyeball and very gently rotate it, just to kind of stretch the little muscles that are holding the eye in place. But all of this has to be done very, very gently. And you can rub your finger and across the lids as well in an upward position, kind of like sunshine rays. And there we go. That's really nice. And if you are aware of how you can find the changes made, if you place your hands in those positions, in the position where you're feeling a lot of things, and you can feel if you barely touch it. In fact, it's more of a higher technique where you're backing out physically, but you're pushing energy in. Then you're starting to really feel the energy of the person you're working on. But that's a very specific technique, and it's very hard to find. That you can find it, but it's something to be trained in. So it's subtle. It's actually more of an energetic thing to do. So many people work off the body energetically, but my experience says if you can't feel what's going on at the subtle level of the body energetically, how can you feel what's going on off the body? Because the movement is so subtle and the movement is so distinct. And yet it's also so subtle that it's hard to pick up unless you're concentrating. And it's relaxing besides. Okay, I'm just feeling the movement of the skin, the muscles of the face, very relaxed position. And of course, let's go back to the neck. And to keep it so people are, since they're so relaxed, you want to very, very gently slide that hand under there, not to disturb them. You don't want them to help you. And then you can give some neck rotations. Very gently taking the head to the side. And then rotate it to the other side. Just let it go as far as it wants to go. If it starts to feel a little sticky, don't force your way through it. And then let it come back up. It might not want to come back up on its own for a while, but it's really moving on its own. And then you can also kind of rotate this way. And let that neck relax. And it's when the face is relaxed, then you can go to the skull and get inside of the hair and rotate the skin. That's very relaxing. And thumbs can be up here, rotating along the suture line. And the person on the table just should feel it, feel what they're feeling inside their body, not thinking about anything, just focusing inside their body, letting the body sink deeper and deeper into a state of relaxation, turning off the nervous system, turning off all of the stress, all of the chatter, all of that, just turning it off. And being with yourself. Begin to know who you are. You may not be who you think you are. Let some of the neck muscles that are part of the shoulder. Again, because this is just strictly relaxation, everything should be slow and still. And feel for where there's a little tension and just hold it. Let the tension roll out of it. And when you feel like the tissues are pretty softened, you can give a kind of a skin stretch where you're stretching the fascia, and it feels like you're stretching it a great deal, but the person on the table doesn't really feel it unless they're tuned deeply into their body. Yeah, these muscles back here are wanting to just let go. Now, some of you may wonder if you can do this to yourself. You can try, but the problem that I always have when I try to do it on myself is I fall asleep and then my hands just land on my face. So with that, sleep well. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to learn my subtle alignment techniques, you can join my course, The Foundations of Subtle Alignment. This 10-video course includes detailed instructions on hand placement and how-to for each technique. There is also a 1-hour full-body session where I teach you the protocol step by step. Addressing misalignments of the subtle anatomy will help alleviate pain and assist the body's ability to heal and to repair.